Imagine this. Along the Appalachian Trail, stretching over 2,000 miles, a person vanishes every 2 months, simply evaporates, without a trace. Search dogs lose the scent at the exact same points, and experienced trekkers are found in locations they couldn't possibly have reached by any logical means. We are talking about mountains older than any tree on the planet, older than the rings of Saturn. And they don't just hold secrets, they breathe them. What if these disappearances aren't just tragedies, but part of an ancient, terrifying protocol? Yes, Evelyn, that's precisely it. Forget the sterile, mundane reports. Appalachia isn't merely a geographical region, it's a mystical crossroads of cultures. The Cherokee, the Scots-Irish settlers, African-American traditions. Each brought their fears, their beliefs, but crucially, each encountered something real here. Consider this. 11 registered murders since 1974, and those are just the official figures. How many go unregistered? How many simply vanish? We're talking about trackless disappearances, where there's no body, no scent, no leads. Police reports dismiss them as disorientation or weather-related incidents, but the locals whisper of forest spirits or dark entities. Isn't that a problem that official science prefers to ignore, reducing it to a series of unfortunate but unrelated events?
Or it's a problem of incomplete data and the human tendency toward mystification. Unpredictable weather conditions, disorientation, harsh terrain, all more than sufficient explanations for disappearances. And folklore? It serves as a psychological coping mechanism, a way to process fear and create convenient narratives for what we cannot immediately understand. The isolation of the local inhabitants and their distance from modern medicine fostered a fertile ground for myths, but not for monsters. New disappearances keep the legends alive because people want to believe there's something more profound beyond chance and negligence.
And that's the precise point, Evelyn. The official report is designed to be boring, predictable. It lulls you into a false sense of security. But if you dare to dig deeper, beneath the layers of bureaucracy and conventional explanations, you'll always find a signal that forces you to wake up. These are the signals we actively seek at Fringe Signal. We don't just tell stories, we empower you to see what's hidden, to feel the unsettling truth that keeps those who know awake at night. Because the truth is always more compelling than the lie, no matter how terrifying.
And our channel provides not just pre-packaged conclusions, but all available facts, both rational and seemingly anomalous. The viewer can then draw their own conclusions. It is precisely in this collision of undeniable facts with the utterly unexplainable that truth is born, if it even exists. Our purpose isn't to confirm every conspiracy theory, Arthur, but to offer an intellectual challenge, to arm our audience with the ability to critically evaluate information, to distinguish a real signal from mere background noise.
You speak as if culture cannot reflect something real. What if what we dismiss as entertainment fiction is in fact a coded warning? Take the Mothman. On November 15, 1966, in Point Pleasant, West Virginia, 2 young couples encountered a humanoid creature, 7 feet tall, with glowing red eyes and enormous white wings. A year later, on December 15, 1967, the Silver Bridge collapsed, claiming 46 lives. Locals unequivocally linked this event to the Mothman's appearance. Scientists theorized it might have been large cranes or owls, but over 100 people witnessed it over 13 months. How do you dismiss that as mere misperception? What if it wasn't a harbinger of disaster, as it was dubbed, but a component of the disaster, or worse, its creator? It wasn't just a loss, Evelyn. It was the disappearance of a bridge between worlds. What if ancient traditions weren't mere fiction, but instructions for safe coexistence with what truly resides here? Remember the Cold Shepherd incident in Massachusetts? An entire village used ancient talismans believed to protect them from whispering lights. When progress brought electricity, the talismans were removed, and the lights returned. They didn't just whisper, they burned from within, causing inexplicable burns on anyone who dared approach. What if the granny witches were precisely such talismans holding something back? Their methods were complex, holistic, understanding the subtle energies of the land. When that understanding faded, perhaps the barrier faded too.
That's a compelling narrative, Arthur. But for every case from your archives, there are a dozen where talismans proved to be nothing more than a placebo. Isolation and lack of scientific education created fertile ground for belief in folk spirits and lights. The shift away from folk remedies to modern medicine was a progression toward empirically proven methods. Invisible objects and sounds, unheard by others, can often be symptoms of stress, exhaustion, or simple auditory hallucinations induced by extreme environmental conditions.
Perception, or a deeper truth you refuse to acknowledge? Then explain the moon-eyed people. According to Cherokee legends, they were pale-skinned beings with large moon eyes, dwelling in caves and emerging only at night. They aided in the fields, but demanded not to be looked upon. Archaeologists found a stone wall in Fort Mountain Park dating from 500 to 1500 AD, and a stereotype vessel with figures featuring large crescent-shaped eyes. An 1882 newspaper article even mentioned burial mounds with tiny remains up to 19 inches tall. Tiny. This isn't just a tribe. This is a different form of life. Beings who hid rather than vanished. And they are still there, deep beneath the mountains, perhaps observing, perhaps waiting. And what about the Flatwoods Monster? On September 12, 1952, in Braxton County, West Virginia, witnesses described a 10-foot-tall creature with a spade-shaped head and a green metallic dress, accompanied by an anomalous mist that caused nausea and vomiting resembling sulfur gas exposure. This isn't just a local myth, Evelyn. The episode became an international phenomenon. The region now has its own museum and an annual festival dedicated to it. People still report feeling unwell when visiting the site, even today. This points to a tangible environmental effect, not just mass hysteria.
Mass hysteria is a powerful psychological phenomenon, Arthur. Localized natural gas emissions or peculiar weather patterns could account for the mist and physical symptoms. You connect disparate, often explainable phenomena into a single cohesive picture to confirm your preconceived theory. This is apophenia.
Or a classic example of concealment. Remember how long the contour division denied the very existence of such anomalies until they could no longer be ignored? What about the actual disappearances? Dennis Martin, 6 years old, vanished on June 14, 1969, in the Great Smoky Mountains. 1,400 searchers across 56 square miles, nothing. Witnesses spoke of a rough-looking man with something on his shoulder and bare feet moving purposefully. Or the Bennington Triangle in Vermont between 1943 and 1950. 5 to 9 people disappeared without a trace, without blood, without signs of struggle, no evidence. And Geraldine Largay, 66, disappeared on July 22, 2013 on the Appalachian Trail. Her remains were only found in 2015, 2 miles off the trail, next to her journal, which documented 26 days of survival. She fought. And then what? What caught up to her? These aren't random accidents, Evelyn. They follow patterns whispered about here for centuries. What if we aren't just seeking an ancient evil, Evelyn, but awakening it? What if all this folklore, every whispered tale of the Mothman, every chilling account of the moon-eyed people, every granny witch's warning isn't just history, but prophecy fulfilled with every step we take? What if these mountains, older than forests and the rings of Saturn, don't just hold secrets, but generate them? And every time we dismiss them as myths, we only strengthen their power by denying their reality. The more the modern world encroaches, the more attention we draw to these sites, the thinner the veil between our reality and theirs. They hunt, but we see. We dive into depths the official world refuses to hear. Our channel is a beacon for those who seek truth beyond comfortable explanations. In fearless exploration, in the collision of ancient folklore with modern reality, in the search for patterns where others see only chaos, our true value lies. We empower you to see. We offer tools to dismantle comfortable narratives and confront unsettling truths.
We offer not blind belief, but critical thinking. Ancient tales intertwined with modern disappearances, fragmented pieces of a disturbing mosaic. You decide how they fit. We present tension, unresolved questions. That's what stays with you. Now you know this story. This knowledge, like any strange signal, leaves a mark. Perhaps you felt that same cold.
To not miss the next signal from the darkness, stay on this frequency. Subscribe. Transmission concluded.